So, guys, after a couple of years of her name being, brought into social media and her having some backlash, now Narry's ex-wife, Kita, has decided that she is going to quit social media. So, quit her YouTube, TikTok, Instagram to go on to a more peaceful life. Right. So now after a couple of years of her life being uprooted, she has announced that she's stepping away from social media, leaving, a lot of her fans wondering what pushed her to make such a major decision. Now, she says that this is not because she's angry, hurt, or involved in any controversy. Right? Instead, she says that she has reached a point where she needs to prioritize her mental well being, her children, and her personal growth over maintaining a constant online presence. Her announcement raises a bigger question, which a lot of influencers are facing today. Like, when does sharing your life with millions of people become too much? Because she's saying that although before, she didn't mind sharing her kids, or she would have loved to share her kids and, their advancement and, personal goals and achievements. But based on the negative backlash that she has been receiving from, the other side, according to her, she doesn't think it's fair to let her children be to receive any brutal onslaught of negativity, right? So in her video, she says that she plans to take an extended break from social media platforms, including YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And she explained that after returning from her recent 3-week trip to Guyana, where she spent a significant time away from the internet, she experienced a different perspective on life without the constant pressures of being connected. Because she did go on to say that, she didn't, internet service was spotty. So she really couldn't get to go on live and stuff. And she did say that she made some videos, in order to create content, but she has decided against that. And then she said that the time away reportedly allowed her to reflect on what truly matters to her. Now, she says she wants to focus more on her children, her personal development, her peace of mind, and her life outside of the public eye. Now, she explained that her decision was not caused by one specific incident, right? And she's saying that no one is bullying her to come off. Instead, she describes it as wanting to escape what she calls the noise surrounding the platforms. And guys, like many creators, she says that she has experienced, a lot of negativity, criticism, and conversations that cross personal boundaries. Because she's saying that a lot of people are telling her she was legally married to Narry, but people are telling her that she should give up on her relationship, and it's just I guess on the other side, she says that what people are as if they were in her marriage, right? She'd say one of her biggest concerns was the way people online discuss private aspects of her life, including her relationships, marriage, and family. Because a lot of her family was brought in, and everybody was just dragging and digging up dirt on her life. Whatever legal issues she has, and all of that, right? And she expressed a frustration that some online discussions have lost a sense of respect and morality, with strangers feeling entitled to judge or compare someone's personal life. But when you look at it, nobody knew. Well, people might have known about her, but it's her side of people that brought her into the public, right? And she's the one who went on their platform and said that she is the wife, right? So she is the one who put herself there. So once you're going to put yourself on social media, you're opening up yourself to onslaught of negativity. Not everything is going to be positive. Not everybody is going to be on your side, right? And a lot of people, they were wondering, why is it that obviously this man seems to want to end the marriage, but you kept hanging on to the marriage for whatever reason. Well, I guess in your video you said that, you were in love, and because you already had one failed relationship, you didn't really want to have another failed marriage, especially since, that marriage brought forth a child. But a lot of people were trying to figure, why would you be subjecting yourself to all of that if obviously the gentleman no longer wanted to be in a relationship with you, but you kept hanging on and you kept finding reasons for him, to stay. I guess people were just looking at it like that, right? So her decision highlights a growing issue among, creators. She was saying many influencers build their careers by sharing personal moments with audiences, but the same connection that creates loyal communities can also create pressure. And she said that creators also face, constant expectation to upload content, public opinions about private decisions, criticism from strangers, and pressure to maintain a certain image. Right? She says that the video that she put up, guys, she said that she plans to remove her content from all platforms, as I said, including YouTube, IG, and TikTok by August 1st. And she explained that this is not about cutting off people personally, but about ending the relationship, created through her current online identity. And she wants a clean separation between her private life and the audience that has followed her journey. So she had a message to her supporters. She's saying, despite leaving, she expressed her gratitude toward the people who supported her positively throughout, her time on social media. And she encouraged her audience to focus on their own lives, to practice self-love, and prioritize their own happiness. And, her message was, sometimes stepping away is not giving up. Sometimes it is choosing yourself. Now, her departure is another example of the complicated reality of internet fame. Now, social media can create opportunities, friendships, and financial success, but it can also come with emotional costs. And as more creators openly discuss burnout and privacy concerns, one question remains: how much of your personal life should you sacrifice to maintain an online career? Now, again, guys, as I said, with all the backlash and stuff that was going on with Alicia Kim and everybody speculating on who her child's father is, and then, people brought in Kita's name and stuff, and then she in turn came in and introduced herself to social media. So not everybody is going to be on your side as much as you were the wife, because now they have her and Narry have divorced. Not because you were the wife, people may be we'll look at your situation, but then others will be like, what are you fighting for? Once your partner, with a husband or wife, but in this case her husband, once your husband disrespects you a certain way, what is it that you're hanging on to? Obviously then it now becomes a one-sided relationship. And if a man wants to depart from the relationship, we need to let them go and stop hanging on to, when it's futile. It's obvious that the relationship is done. We need to save our self-respect. And if he wants to move on, if he finds happiness elsewhere, let him go. We keep holding on to these men, and then that is what allows the men to disrespect us, or, to treat us, disrespectfully, or for other persons themselves, to treat us with disdain when we're holding on to a relationship that is obviously going nowhere. So, well, guys, Kita says she is hanging up her social media hat. So she will no longer have any other platforms. She will disable all her channels, because she's, going to be focusing on herself and her mental space.